I was planning to do a quick video talking about the United States Navy's involvement during Chile's fight for independence against Spain. And so I was reading some books and trying to refresh my memory, but there's just one problem. Surprisingly, these biographies are jam-packed with information that's really difficult for me to consolidate everything into one simple video. Like right here we have Captain David Porter, who during the War of 1812 sailed into the Pacific on his own accord and wrote a journal about his experience capturing British whaling ships and getting involved in Chilean politics. During President James Monroe's administration, Captain James Biddle was responsible for transporting diplomats on a fact-finding mission to Peru and Chile. America was neutral to the involvement of Chile against Spain, but they were down there to protect their self-interest in trade. At the same time, James Biddle was sent up to Oregon Territory, to reestablish or redefine the borders up there between Great Britain and the United States. Captain Stewart's time in the Pacific Squadron gets a little more complex because like James Biddle, he was supposed to represent the neutral United States, but his wife, who was on board, smuggled a Spanish royalist spy, which resulted in Captain Stewart's court-martial. There was talk of Captain Stewart being corrupt anyway because of his merchant captain background. Captain Stewart had many friends among the merchant captains sailing around the Chile coast, and there was suspicion that Stewart was looking the other way while these merchants were transporting contraband between the Royalists or the Patriots, whichever side that these particular captains sided with. But it seemed to be that Captain Stewart sided more with the Spanish Royalists. By the time Captain Isaac Hall came to relieve Stewart in the Pacific Squadron, the governments of Chile and Peru were run by patriot governments. It was relatively uneventful while he was there. Most of the drama came from Hall's own squadron because about this time, lieutenants and young officers were competing against each other. The old school of the Navy just wasn't working anymore. I'm finding that each captain needs their own video because there's so much information to talk about. So many different events, major and minor, but has a overall impact about the whole situation of the United States' involvement with Chile and I guess to a smaller extent Peru. Maybe a good chance for me to talk about my controversial opinion, which I know almost for a fact that most historians would hate me for, but it's just, like I said, my own personal opinion and how I think this one teeny tiny detail would have benefited the United States in the long run, especially when it comes to the Panama Canal. But that is going to have to be in Captain David Porter's video.